There is a psalm that was never meant to be read the way you have been reading it. For generations, across exile, across persecution, across the kind of poverty that breaks families in half, certain teachers preserved this psalm not as a prayer, not as a comfort, but as a precise spiritual technology, a coded instruction for the movement of wealth. And what I am about to share with you today has been inside my family's teaching for 4 generations. My grandfather carried it through the Soviet years, when owning a religious text was grounds for interrogation. He did not hand me money when he passed. He handed me something worth far more than money. He handed me this. What I am going to teach you takes 3 minutes to perform. The writing itself, 3 minutes. But the placement, the intention, the specific protocol the ancient teachers preserved, that is the architecture. And when every element is done with the precision I am going to describe, what the sages documented across centuries is this. Within 3 days, the frequency of your financial life begins to shift. I have seen people experience the first movement within 72 hours. Not a windfall. Not a miracle drop from the sky, the channel opening, the first sign of water moving through a pipe that has been sealed. That is what 3 days tends to produce, and what tends to follow that first movement, when the person does not close it down through fear, is something they carry for the rest of their life. I need you to stay with me until the very end of this teaching. If you leave before the final section, you will have a piece of the instruction, but not the complete key. And an incomplete key does not open the lock. Before we go further, type the words, "I receive," in the comments right now, not after the video, now. When you make a public declaration before you receive a spiritual instruction, you are telling the unseen realm, "I am a prepared vessel. I am ready." Type it and then stay with me. Now let me tell you what has actually been happening in your financial life. And I am asking you to hear this not as a lecture, but as the diagnosis of a physician who has been sitting with patients for a very long time. You have tried things, I know you have. Budget spreadsheets, the law of attraction teachings, working more hours, adding income streams, cutting expenses, positive confessions in the mirror every morning. I am not dismissing any of it. Those approaches are not wrong. They are simply reaching into the wrong layer of reality. And this is what nobody tells you. This is the root cause that sits beneath every surface behavior. The physical world is downstream of the spiritual world. What you see in your bank account right now is not the problem. It is the shadow of the problem. And you cannot fix a shadow by touching the shadow. You fix a shadow by changing what is casting it. The ancient teachers had an image for this. They spoke of a vessel with a crack in its base. You can pour into that vessel endlessly. The abundance arrives, it touches the sides, and it drains. The person working 2 jobs and still not gaining ground is not lacking in effort. They are pouring into a cracked vessel, and they do not know where the crack is. What I am giving you today is not more water. It is the repair of the crack. And the specific psalm I am going to walk you through is what the Kabbalistic teachers called a technology of the spirit. Not a poem, not a comfort, but a precise sequence of Hebrew frequencies that, when written by your own hand with full intention and placed in the location where money passes through your life, begins the work of sealing what has been leaking. I was 34 years old. It was a Tuesday in February. I remember the day specifically because the cold in Jerusalem that week was the kind that settles into stone buildings and does not leave until spring. And I had been sitting in my study since before dawn. I had been going through a period I do not speak about often. A business arrangement I had entered 3 years earlier had collapsed in a way that took other things down with it. Not just money, trust, confidence, the sense that I understood how the world of provision worked. For 3 years I had been applying everything I knew, praying, giving, studying, working, and the ceiling stayed. The same ceiling, the same invisible wall between my effort and a breakthrough. My teacher, a man in his 80s, a scholar who had survived things I will not describe here, called me one evening and asked me one question. He said, "Do you carry anything in your wallet?" I told him I carried cards, some cash, a photograph of my children. He said, "Nothing written?" I said no. He told me to come to him the following morning. I arrived at 7. He sat me down at a wooden table that had been in his family since before the Second War. He opened to Psalm 23. He did not read it to me in the devotional sense. He walked me through it word by word in the original Hebrew. And what I heard that morning was not the psalm I had recited since childhood. I heard a financial blueprint. I heard a coded instruction for the posture of a person who has aligned their spirit with the frequency of overflow. He told me to write it that night, by hand, with black ink, on white paper that had not been used for anything else. He told me exactly where to place it, and he told me, and this is the part I will come back to, he told me what to expect in the 3 days that followed, and what not to do when it arrived. I went home, I wrote, I placed it, and within 68 hours I received a call from a man I had not spoken to in 11 months. A man connected to a project that had stalled, that I had mentally released as finished, calling to tell me that the project was moving again and that he wanted me involved. It was not the redemption of everything I had lost, but it was unmistakable. The channel had opened. And I knew, not from the call, but from what I felt in the moment I placed that paper in my wallet the night before, that something had shifted in the layer beneath the physical. What I want you to understand from this is not that the psalm is magic. It is not. What it is this: a precise sequence of spiritual frequencies, delivered through the specific act of writing by hand, placed in the location where money moves in and out of your daily life, carrying the full weight of your intention. The combination of those 3 elements, the specific text, the handwriting, the placement, creates what the sages called kavanah, intention so focused and so embodied that it begins to reshape the spiritual environment around your financial life. And the evidence for this is not anecdotal. It is preserved across 40 generations of documented teaching in traditions that survived every conceivable form of material destruction. These teachers had nothing left but what worked. They kept what worked. Let me walk you through the exact protocol. Every element I am about to describe is specific. Do not improvise. Do not substitute. The precision is not arbitrary. It reflects thousands of years of refinement by people who understood that spiritual technology, like physical technology, works when the specifications are followed and fails when they are not. The paper. Use a single sheet of plain white paper, unlined, unused, never written on before. Do not tear it from a notebook that has other writing in it. The teachers specified this because paper that has already received other words carries the frequency of those words. You want a completely clean vessel for this text. Fold it once, horizontally, after you have finished writing, not before, not multiple times, once. The instrument, black ink, a pen you hold comfortably in your dominant hand, not blue ink, not pencil, not a marker. The Kabbalistic color system associates black with the absorption of all light frequencies simultaneously. It closes no channel and opens all of them. When you write in black ink, you are not directing the provision toward one area of your financial life. You are opening every avenue. The writing itself. You write Psalm 23 by hand, the complete psalm, every word. Do not abbreviate. Do not type and print. Do not copy someone else's handwriting. Your hand, your pen, your intention. The reason the hand matters is found in the deepest layer of the teaching. In the tradition, the hand is the instrument of giving and receiving. What passes through the hand in the act of giving is the same channel through which return flows. When your hand writes the words of this psalm, words that encode sufficiency, overflow, provision, alignment, your body participates in a declaration that the mind alone cannot make. The nervous system receives it differently. The spirit encodes it differently. You are not writing words, you are programming the vessel. Now let me walk you through the psalm the way my teacher walked me through it, not as poetry, but as instruction. The Lord is my shepherd. This is the opening posture. A person who has accepted that they are connected to a source of provision that does not deplete, not scrambling, not isolated, connected. I shall not want. Read this slowly. This is not a wish. This is an instruction to the deeper mind about its baseline setting. The baseline is not shortage, not just enough, not almost. The baseline is sufficiency. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, the posture of a person not vibrating at the frequency of desperation. Desperation is the single greatest repeller of financial flow in the tradition. The person lying down in green pastures is not gripping, not forcing, not bargaining with the universe from a position of panic. He leadeth me beside the still waters, still water, not turbulent. This is the antidote to the financial decisions made from fear, from urgency, from the pressure of a deadline. He restoreth my soul. This is the reset. The clearing of the spiritual residue that has accumulated from years of financial fear, debt shame, and the specific kind of exhaustion that comes from working hard and seeing the floor stay exactly where it is. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. In the original Hebrew, the word tzedakah is embedded in this line. The principle of giving as a mechanism of opening. The tradition does not teach that you give after you have enough. It teaches that giving is part of the system that produces enough. When you follow this path, when you become a channel rather than a container, the flow increases. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I am asking you to hold this verse specifically. We will come back to it when I tell you about the 3-day window and the test that arrives inside it. For thou art with me, the antidote to financial isolation. The feeling that you are carrying this weight alone, that no provision is coming because no provision has come. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The rod and the staff in ancient agricultural life were instruments of both protection and guidance. The sages read this as the dual nature of provision, that which protects you from loss and that which guides you toward increase. Not one or the other, both simultaneously. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Hold this line. The table is prepared in the presence of the enemies. Not after the enemies are gone, not after the debt is resolved, the fear is quieted, the circumstances have shifted. The provision arrives while the difficulty is still visible. Write this with particular intention. My cup runneth over, not filled, overflowing. The tradition teaches that the universe does not operate on scarcity. It operates on surplus. What limits our reception is not the supply is without limit. What limits our reception is the size and integrity of the vessel we present to receive it. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. In the original Hebrew, the word for follow here is a word of pursuit. Goodness and mercy are chasing you. You are not chasing them. You are not earning them. They are in pursuit of you, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The house in this reading is not a building. It is a frequency state, a spiritual posture that a person inhabits regardless of external conditions. To dwell in that house is to remain in alignment even when the bank account says otherwise, even when the circumstances say otherwise, even when the fear arrives, and the fear will arrive. We are coming to that. Write every word. Take the time the writing takes. This is not the place for speed. When you finish writing, before you fold the paper, read the psalm out loud once. Your voice in the air of the room is the activation. The vibration of the words leaving your body into the physical space around you completes the circuit. Then fold the paper once. Place it in your wallet, behind your most frequently used card, with the writing facing outward, toward the mouth of the wallet, toward the world, not tucked in a back pocket, not in a zipper compartment. Behind the card, facing out. The direction of facing in the tradition indicates the direction of intention. This psalm is not sealed inside your wallet looking inward at your money. It is looking outward at every transaction, at every financial interaction, at every moment when money moves through your hands. Now I need to speak to you about the 3 days, because this is where most people who have received this instruction abandon it, at the exact moment it is working. And if I do not prepare you for what is coming, you may make the same mistake. On the day you write and place the psalm, you may feel something I can only describe as a quiet settling, a sense that something has been decided at a level deeper than thought. Trust it. Do not analyze it. On the first day after the writing, I have seen people experience small financial movements, an unexpected refund, money found in a place they had forgotten to check, a conversation that turns in an unexpectedly favorable direction. These are not yet the provision. These are what the tradition calls the first fruits, the first sign that the channel has opened. When they arrive, acknowledge them. Say out loud, I see you, I receive you, thank you. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Coincidence is what people call the first fruits when they do not have the framework to recognize them. But here is the test, and this is why I told you to hold Psalm 23 verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Sometime within the 3-day window, it may be the 2nd day, it may be the morning of the 3rd, something will arrive that looks like the opposite of what you have been calling in. A bill that feels larger than usual, a notice, an unexpected expense, something that tightens the chest. This is the behavior of someone who is not ready. They see that tightening and they speak words of panic over their own situation. They say, it is not working. They close what they have just opened. Do not do this. What the tradition calls this moment is the examination of the vessel. Before filling a vessel, the craftsman tests its integrity under pressure. The bill, the notice, the tightening. This is not evidence of failure. It is the test of whether the vessel will hold. When it arrives, I want you to do one specific thing. Take the wallet in your hand, feel the paper inside it, and say these words. I am not moved. What I have declared stands. The channel is open, and I will not close it with fear. Then do not speak about the difficulty to anyone for 24 hours. Let the psalm hold the frequency while you hold your words. What I have shared with you today is a complete and functional piece of a larger architecture. It is real. It will produce movement if you apply it with full intention. But I want to be honest with you about what one piece can and cannot do. The psalm alone does not address the specific speech patterns that reclose financial channels in the hours after opening them. It does not address the 7 household objects that the ancient teachers identified as active drains on the frequency of provision. It does not address the specific daily practice the sages called the morning alignment, a 4-minute sequence performed before the first financial decision of each day that maintains the channel the psalm opens. The full architecture, the complete system I have built over 22 years of teaching, incorporating the lineage my grandfather carried and the texts I have spent my adult life inside, that is in the program whose link is below this video. It is not a collection of inspiration. It is a blueprint, room by room, layer by layer, the way a master craftsman builds something designed to last. If you are serious, not curious, serious, about making a permanent change in the frequency of your financial life, the link is there. Move while the clarity from this teaching is present. That clarity is itself a first fruit. Tell me in the comments, what is the one area of your financial life where you most need the channel to open right now? Name it. Just name it. Not a paragraph, one phrase. Naming it publicly is an act of release. It removes the secrecy and the shame that hold financial blockages in place. I read every comment. I respond to as many as I am able. This channel carries a full lineage of teaching, not a content schedule, not a theme, but a transmission of knowledge that has been refined across generations, and that I am releasing now because the times we are living in demand it. When you subscribe and turn the notification bell on, you are not adding another channel to your feed. You are joining a community of people who have decided that what they were told about money and about their own capacity to receive is incomplete. Next week, I am going to reveal the specific Kabbalistic principle behind the timing of financial decisions, why the day of the week and the hour of the day that you make certain financial movements changes the outcome in ways the tradition documented centuries before modern research began to confirm it. If you are not subscribed with the bell on, you will not see it when it releases. And based on what you are navigating right now, you cannot afford to miss it. If something in this teaching landed today, if even one sentence felt like something you have always known but never heard said clearly, press the like button before you close this video. You are not pressing it for my numbers. You are pressing it because somewhere right now, a person is searching for exactly what you just found, and your action is what puts this teaching in front of them. Become the channel through which this wisdom reaches one more person. That act of generosity is its own form of opening. Go write the psalm tonight. Do not wait until the weekend. Do not wait until the circumstances feel more ready. The circumstances will not feel ready. That is the nature of a sealed channel. Write it tonight, place it tomorrow morning, and in 3 days come back and tell me what you saw. May the wisdom of this teaching stay with you beyond this screen, rooted in your daily life, and may the channel that has been sealed begin from this day to flow. Shalom.